Millionaire discovers shocking truth at home. Inspiring bond between daughter and maid revealed. Mark Thompson, a self-made millionaire in the affluent suburb of Oak Brook, often found himself overwhelmed by the weight of his own success. The sprawling home, adorned with glossy finishes and elaborate decorations, echoed with laughter. Yet, deep down, Mark sensed a bizarre emptiness. He watched as his 16-year-old daughter, Lily, shared giggles and secrets with their maid Maria over greasy midnight snacks. It was a sight that inexplicably twisted something inside him: jealousy, regret. Holidays were approaching, and while he prepped for a grand soiree filled with influential business partners, a nagging feeling poked at him. Maria's nurturing presence filled the parental void he often left unoccupied. Where were his late-night talks? Where were their pizza movie nights? Mark's heart drummed louder as he pictured the warmth of their home shattered by his absence. One evening, he walked in on them. Maria sat cross-legged on the floor, and Lily leaned into her, eyes alight with joy. They were swapping dreams and stories, each word wrapping around the other like a warm embrace. It left Mark unsettled, as if their bond was a secret wasn't he part of a shadow cast over the festive lights. It made him question what family meant when wealth loomed large. Suddenly, the universe struck back. The market crashed, sending his empire tumbling with it. The opulence he had come to rely on began to falter. His pride, once as solid as his bank account, felt fragile. Panic bubbled within him, yet he found himself turning to Maria, a woman he had never truly seen, for the first time. An unexpected alliance began to form amidst the chaos of his unraveling life. "Your dreams matter, Mark," she told him one night when he shared his worries. He learned about her struggles, her hopes intertwining with threads of resilience. Her story was not just about survival, this was a tale of perseverance, stitching together her dreams with the needs of her children. In those moments, Mark felt raw and exposed, as if he were peeling away the layers of his own identity. Did he ever really know what success meant? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Tension filled the air like an electric charge. Mark's eyes darted between the remnants of his lavish lifestyle and the laughter that rang from Lily's room. His daughter, who had once leaned toward glamorous parties, was now the light for Maria's children. Mark's own heart began to thaw, gradually realizing that he had been chasing after the wrong dreams. With the winter festival hours away, and life, as he knew it, collapsing, Mark stood at a shocking crossroads. Did his worth lie in the zeros on his bank statement, or the laughter dancing through the air of his quiet home? For the first time, his luxurious facade felt too heavy to bear. Would he embrace the undeniable bond forming before him, or would he cling to a definition of family that no longer served him? Time was slipping away, and he was desperate to discover not just who he was, but what truly made a family whole. Mark stood frozen, the weight of his decisions pressing down like a heavy fog. The laughter spilling from Lily's room felt magical, a stark contrast to the turmoil in his heart. Each giggle was a reminder of all the moments he had missed, the conversations never had. In that instant, he understood something profound. Happiness wasn't defined by what he owned, but by the connections he nurtured. As he turned from Lily's door, he could still hear Maria's gentle voice weaving tales of resilience and aspiration, and Lily, wide-eyed with wonder, drinking it all in. Mark could feel his own childhood dreams resurfacing, long buried under the weight of corporate ambitions. Simple dreams that didn't require sprawling mansions or luxury cars. connections, love, family. Determined, he made his way to the living room. Sunlight streamed through the grand windows, illuminating the remnants of his past success, trophies, awards, and photographs of a life once lived happily. This wasn't just about money, it was about legacy. He wanted more than just wealth to pass down to Lily. He wanted her to inherit the values that molded Maria's spirit, values of hard work, integrity, and love. He wanted her to see true success as something earned through kindness and resilience, not just financial stature. That evening, Mark sought out Maria in the kitchen. The aroma of her signature chicken curry filled the air, a warm, inviting scent that made his stomach rumble. He found her humming while stirring, a soft melody that resonated deeper than he anticipated. When she saw him, her smile lit up the room, reflecting a warmth and understanding he had sorely missed. "Hey, can we talk?" he asked, his voice a mix of uncertainty and eagerness. Her expression shifted from surprise to curiosity. "Of course, Mr. Thompson. Is everything okay? I want to learn from you. Not just about family, but how you balance everything. What it means to truly support someone. I need that wisdom," he confessed, feeling vulnerable under her kind gaze. Maria nodded, her eyes twinkling with a hint of pride. "You already know more than you think, Mark. You just need to look past the surface. Family, love, and dreams, they're all interwoven. It's about being present, showing up even when things are tough." He felt a shift within himself, the weight of his perceived failures lifting just a fraction. The festival would be a chance to rebuild not just the decorations, but the relationships he had neglected. Maybe he could cultivate a new tradition, one where laughter wouldn't just echo through the halls, but would wrap around them all, binding them with love. "Can you help me understand how to give that to Lily?" Mark asked, desperation more apparent in his voice than he intended. "Start by being honest with her," Maria suggested, her voice gentle yet firm. "Share your struggles. Let her see your true self. Children grow knowing they're not alone when we show them our vulnerabilities. It builds real strength." Her words struck a chord, stirring chords of hope within him. He leaned on the counter, contemplating the journey ahead. "I need to make things right to show her more than just the fancy life." As they continued discussing the plan for the festival, Mark felt a flicker of excitement. Perhaps this was his moment to shift the narrative, to create a space where everyone felt valued and part of something bigger. That night, as he walked to his bedroom, he paused at Lily's door again. The gentle sounds of her laughter intertwined with Maria's stories seeped into his heart, and he felt motivated to heal. Tomorrow, he would step into the shadows he had allowed to grow too large. Could one night really change the direction of their lives? The question lingered as he drifted off to sleep, leaving his heart with something it hadn't felt in a long time: hope. The next morning, the doorbell rang unexpectedly, shaking the sleepy tranquility of their home. Who could that be at this hour? Little did Mark know, the answer would further unravel the intricate tapestry of their lives. Mark rubbed the sleep from his eyes, still lost in the warmth of the previous night's revelations. The doorbell rang again, its persistence slicing through the calm. Curiosity pricked at him. He wondered who could possibly be at their door this early. He tiptoed down the hallway, heart racing with anticipation and uncertainty. When he opened the door, he was met by a face he hadn't seen in years. Rebecca, his college friend, stood there with her backpack slung over her shoulder, and an air of excitement that seemed almost contagious. "Mark! Wow, it's been too long," she exclaimed, pulling him into a warm embrace that instantly reminded him of simpler times. "Becca, I can't believe you're here," he responded, stepping back to take in her familiar features. Her dark curly hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and her eyes sparkled with an energy that rekindled something in him. "I was in town for a business meeting and thought I'd swing by," she said, grinning. "I heard you moved back here. How has life been treating you?" Mark hesitated. Life was better now than it had been, but the weight of his past decisions still gripped him. "It's a work in progress," he said finally, forcing a smile. "Come on, you can't give me the sanitized version. Bring me up to speed." As they settled at the kitchen table, Mark found himself sharing more than he intended. He spoke of Lily, their new life, and the challenges he faced reconnecting with his daughter. He even mentioned Maria, how her calm presence had begun to reshape his perspective. Rebecca listened attentively, her brows furrowing and unfurling with every twist in his story. "You know, Mark, it takes real bravery to change your narrative. Most people just stay stuck in their bubbles," she said, her tone genuine. "I want to give Lily something different. I want her to understand that relationships matter more than anything else," he replied, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. Rebecca smiled knowingly. "You're off to a good start then. It sounds like you're discovering what you really want. But what is holding you back?" The question hung in the air, challenging him. Mark thought of all the fears, the fear of failure, of not doing enough. "I guess it's just hard to break old habits. I'm terrified of not being enough." She reached across the table, placing her hand over his. "You already are enough. You just need to be honest with Lily. Let her see the real you. Kids can feel when we're putting on a facade." Just then, the sound of laughter echoed through the house, drawing both of their ears. Mark's heart surged. Lily and Maria were sharing a moment, one that felt like a glimpse into a brighter future. Feeling an overwhelming urge to check on them, he stood up abruptly. "Come on, let us go see what they're up to." As they walked toward the living room, Rebecca's enthusiasm was infectious. "You know, we used to say that family wasn't just blood, but the bonds we forge. Sounds like your girl has formed some solid ones." When they entered the living room, the scene was uplifting. Maria sat cross-legged on the floor, animatedly telling a story, while Lily was completely absorbed, her eyes wide with delight. "See?" Rebecca whispered, nudging Mark gently. "Look at them. That's what it's all about." Mark couldn't hold back the smile that spread across his face. The rush of warmth filled his chest like a balloon, expanding with hope. Just as that warmth settled, a sudden gasp drew their attention. Lily had spotted Rebecca, and her face lit up. "Aunt Becca, you're here." Rebecca knelt beside Lily, pulling her into a tight embrace. Mark watched, feeling something shift inside him. The bond amongst them was growing, intertwining like threads in a tapestry, reminding him of all the life he wanted to experience. But as laughter filled the room, a shadow crossed Becca's face. "Mark, can we talk later?" He caught the wave of concern in her gaze, and felt the stirring of anxiety once more. What could she possibly mean? What secret was Rebecca about to reveal? The answer could change everything they had just begun to build. Mark's heart was pounding as he watched Rebecca interact with Lily. Just moments ago, they had been enveloped in warmth and light, but now the atmosphere felt heavy with something unsaid. He stole glances at Rebecca, her bright smile contradicting the worry etched in her brow. It nagged at him, a whisper of something lurking just beneath the surface. "Come on, kiddo, let us show Aunt Becca your room," Lily exclaimed, tugging on Rebecca's arm, her innocent excitement a boost to their shared moment. As they moved toward the hallway, Mark hung back, taking a deep breath to steady himself. He went to check on Maria, whose laughter echoed from the kitchen, still bubbling with joy from their earlier exchange. "Hey, do you need any help?" Mark called out, finding her washing the breakfast dishes. Her hair was pulled into a ponytail, and she wore a faded apron, the scene striking him as blissfully domestic. "Just finishing up," Maria said, looking back at him. "Everything okay? You look a bit preoccupied." Taking a moment, he let the question settle. "It's just Rebecca's here, and she seems a bit off. I don't know why, but I can feel something isn't right. Maria smiled softly, her voice soothing. Sometimes people bring their real concerns into moments that feel light. Maybe it's a good idea to give her a space to share what's on her mind. Mark nodded, appreciating her insight. He glanced toward the living room, the sounds of gleeful chatter pulling him back. Just then, Lily appeared in the hallway, her face glowing, and Rebecca emerged just behind her, her laugh lighting up the room once more. But Mark wondered how long the lightness could last. All set. We were just talking about your old board games, Lily said, her enthusiasm infectious. Rebecca's face brightened. Oh wow, I remember those. We used to have some epic battles over those games. Mark smiled, but the worry entangled with the celebration remained in the back of his mind. He could feel Rebecca's hesitation looming somewhere in the air, and after cutting through the warm moment, he finally spoke up. So Becca, what did you want to talk about when we get a moment alone? Without missing a beat, Rebecca met his gaze, her expression shifting to something more serious. Actually, can we talk right now? Lily's face fell a bit, sensing the sudden shift in atmosphere. But we're just about to play. Mark moved closer, kneeling beside his daughter. Sweetheart, we'll be right back. Can you help Maria with the dishes for a minute? Lily looked between them, a questioning furrow in her brow, but she nodded reluctantly. Okay, but don't take too long. As they stepped into the kitchen, Rebecca drew a deep breath, her hands fidgeting with the straps of her backpack. Mark, there is something I've been meaning to tell you about my meeting yesterday. It involves your past, and it isn't easy. The words were like a winter chill sweeping through the warmth of the kitchen. Mark's mind raced with possibilities, each one worse than the last. What do you mean? Is this about my father? Rebecca shook her head, her expression becoming more serious. No, it's about Lily. And Maria. I found out something that might change everything for you. His stomach nodded, light fading from the world around them. What do you mean? I can't say much here. But you need to know, it's about their connection. Something you both should have known. Mark clenched his fists, a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions swirling inside him. This couldn't be happening, not now, not after all they'd built. What had Rebecca discovered that could alter their fragile happiness? He felt a cold tremor of dread grip him, wanting desperately to understand. Mark's heart raced as the weight of Rebecca's words hung in the air. His mind fought against the tide of dread that threatened to engulf him. What connection? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Rebecca shifted her weight from one foot to the other, biting her lip. The playful colors of the kitchen painted over a backdrop of anxiety now felt muted, almost gray. It's complicated, and I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't believe it could change everything for you. Mark took a step closer, needing to bridge the gap that felt like an ocean. Just tell me, Becca. I can handle it. She hesitated, her eyes darting to the door, as if considering if they were fully alone. All right. I found out that Maria and Lily, they share more than just the bond of employment or friendship. They are linked in a way that goes deep into the past. You might not remember everything, but his mind was screaming with possibilities, and every dark turn sent a jolt through him. Linked? How? His voice shook slightly, betraying the facade he desperately tried to maintain. Rebecca took a deep breath, her composure faltering slightly. When I was going through family records, I stumbled across something. Maria, she used to live near your childhood home. There are records that suggest she knew your mother well, and that there's a family connection. Mark felt the ground shift beneath him. What do you mean? The reality of her words crashed down like waves on a rocky shore. You're saying Maria is? I hate to drop this news like this, but yes. There's a chance she is a half-sister to you, Mark. I'm not sure of all the details, but it seems your past is intertwined with Maria's in ways you'd never considered. Every word Rebecca spoke carved a deeper fissure into his reality. A half-sister? He suddenly felt like an outsider in his own life. The laughter from the living room faded into an echo, and the vibrant colors around him dulled, leaving behind stark grays and chilling whites. "Why didn't Maria say anything?" he asked, struggling to make sense of the chaos in his thoughts. "I don't think she remembers, Mark. She has probably avoided talking about the past to keep things uncomplicated. But this connection, it might be huge, especially for Lily, who deserves to know the truth." Mark leaned against the counter, his mind racing and his heart pounding. Was this why he felt drawn to Maria? Why their bond felt like family even before he knew the truth? The revelations tumbled over each other until he felt dizzy. "Lily deserves the truth," he muttered, as if trying to convince himself. "But what do I say to Maria? How will she react?" Rebecca's gaze softened. "You could either confront her or approach this gently. Just know it's going to be an emotional ride for everyone involved." An emotional ride? That felt like an understatement. Just as he began to gather his thoughts, the cheerful laughter of his daughter broke through the haze. It sounded innocent, untouched by the storm brewing in the kitchen. Mark's heart ached, knowing the truth could shatter their semblance of happiness. "And how do I protect them from this revelation?" Rebecca reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "You can't shield them from their own story. Sometimes, the hardest truths can also bring people closer together. Consider telling them together, as a family. It could strengthen all of your bonds instead." Mark swallowed hard, unsure where this path would lead. But the thought of leaving Rebecca's revelation unchecked gnawed at him. "Then we have to talk soon. Before it's too late." As if on cue, the laughter from Lily surged again, a sweet melody that filled the corners of the kitchen. Mark could see her skipping toward him, her face bright and unaware of the storm just containing her world. "Daddy, can we play now?" she asked, bursting through the door, her eyes sparkling in the light. His heart twisted. How was he supposed to do this? How could he keep that joyous smile from fading? "Just one moment, sweetheart," Mark replied, glancing at Rebecca, who shared his uncertainty. "We need to figure out how to turn our family as past into a future together." But time was running out, and he couldn't shake the feeling that their cozy little world was on the brink of upheaval. What did the truth hold for them? Little did they know, the truth awaited, and it would change everything forever. Mark's heart hammered in his chest as he looked down at Lily, her innocent smile lighting up the dim kitchen. This moment felt like a fragile bubble, one that could pop at any second if the truth ruptured through. He knelt to her level, forcing a smile despite the whirlwind in his mind. "Sure. Give me just a second, all right?" he said, hoping his voice didn't betray the chaos swirling inside him. "Okay," Lily chirped, her excitement bubbling over. She twirled around the room, blissfully unaware of the gravity weighing down her father. After she skipped back into the living room, Mark turned back to Rebecca, urgency in his eyes. "We need to act fast. I can't keep this from her." "From Maria." "Just remember," Rebecca said, her voice steady but laced with concern, "this isn't just about you. It's their story too. You have to decide how much you want to share." He nodded but didn't reply. A flicker of guilt crept in. If Maria were indeed his half-sister, then he had kept his distance while she quietly connected with his daughter. And to think he might be stolen that bond, all because of his need for space, his desire to protect himself from peeling back the layers of pain. The laughter of his daughter rang again from the living room. It felt like music, but also a haunting reminder of what could shatter in moments. He picked up his phone, thumb hovering over Maria's number. What was he going to say? "Hi, how are you? By the way, I think we might share the same DNA." He couldn't ignore how absurd it sounded. Rebecca's voice broke through his thoughts. "Mark, are you okay? You look lost." just trying to figure out how to talk to her. Maybe just start with honesty. Tell her what you've learned. Let her decide what she wants to do with that information. He sighed. Easier said than done. What if she doesn't want to know me? Or Lily? Then you just have to leave space for her to choose. But you owe it to both of them to at least try. He wanted to argue, but deep down he knew she was right. The fear of rejection loomed over him, but the weight of the truth bore down harder. Suddenly, his phone buzzed a text from Maria. "Can I come by later? I have something to discuss." His heart raced anew. Could this be fate pushing him? Or simply a coincidence? "Mark?" Rebecca's voice urged him back to reality. "What are you thinking?" "Maria just texted. She wants to come over." "Now?" "Yeah." "Should I tell her?" The words felt heavy, like lead on his tongue. He could almost see the potential fallout the moment he uttered a single syllable, the possibility of rejection, the heartbreak that could ensue. "Do you want me to be here?" she offered gently. "I don't know," he admitted. The thought of Rebecca witnessing this confrontation made it all the more real. But having a friend beside him felt like a rock in unpredictable waters. "Whatever you choose, I'm here. Just remember, facing the truth can be liberating." Mark took a deep breath, his grip on the phone tightening. Time felt distorted, each second stretching into the next. What if this turned everything upside down? "All right. Let us do this." The resolve surged through him as he stood tall, looking Rebecca in the eyes. They were allies in this truth-seeking mission. "Can you stay until she arrives?" "Of course. Just remember, you're not alone in this." As he stared out the window, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting shadows that danced across the room, reflecting the duality of hope and fear in his heart. Mark knew confrontations were never easy, especially when spirits could be torn apart or mended in an instant. Deep down, he could hear the echoes of laughter drifting from the living room, but soon, a new sound would join it, the painful yet necessary truth. What lay ahead was uncertain. Would Maria be as receptive as he hoped? His phone buzzed again. Maria was close, and there was no turning back now. And as he prepared to delve into this moment, he wondered, when faced with a flood of emotions, can hearts truly mend, or will sifting through the rubble reveal only sorrow? The doorbell rang, shattering the heavy silence that had enveloped the kitchen. Mark's heart skipped at the sound. He exchanged a short glance with Rebecca, whose expression mirrored the mix of hope and dread pulling at his insides. "Here goes nothing," he whispered, steeling himself as he made his way to the door. Each footfall felt heavy, like he was walking through thick mud. He hesitated for just a fraction of a second before pulling open the door. Maria stood on the other side, her face a mix of curiosity and apprehension. She looked more grown-up than he remembered, with her long hair framing her face and her expressive eyes searching for answers. "Hi, Mark," she said softly, stepping inside. "Hey, come in," he managed, stepping aside to let her in. The tension in the air thickened as he closed the door behind them. Lily's laughter echoed from the living room, the sounds of random toys clattering together. Maria's face lit up momentarily at the familiar noise, but it quickly shifted back to concern as she scanned Mark's expression. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah," he replied, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. "It's just a lot has happened." Rebecca stood nearby, an understanding nod on her face. She seemed like a lifeline in this turbulent sea of emotion, and he felt grateful for her presence. "Do you want to talk about it?" Maria asked, her brow furrowed in concern. "Yes, we do," he said, the words spilling out before he could backtrack. "You might want to sit down. There is something important I need to tell you." "Okay," Maria replied, her voice shaking slightly. "What is it?" Taking a breath, Mark gestured toward the living room. "Let us find a comfortable spot." He led them to the couch where they could settle in. The warmth of the room felt like a stark contrast to the cold weight in his chest. Lily peeked around the corner, her curious little face already missing in action. "Daddy? Can I have a snack?" "Sure, sweetheart. I'll be there in a moment," he called, his heart flipping for her innocence in this complex situation. As she bounced off to the kitchen, Mark turned back to Maria. "You might want to brace yourself for this." "What is going on, Mark?" He glanced at Rebecca, who gave him an encouraging smile, pushing him to take the plunge. "Maria, do you remember when our parents used to talk about family? About how important it is?" "Yes," she answered, uncertain. "Do you remember your mom? When she passed away, things were hard for both of us." Maria frowned, a flicker of pain flashing through her eyes. "It was tough." Mark felt his throat tighten. "I found something out recently, something that changes our past and our connection." "What do you mean?" she asked, leaning forward, her expression now a mixture of confusion and concern. "Maria, I think you're my half-sister," he said, cringing slightly at how the words felt hanging in the air. "We share the same father." Silence smothered the space between them, and he could see her processing the information. "What?" "I know it's a lot," he hurried to say. "I didn't want to keep this from you, but I also didn't know how you'd react. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you, how to give you the choice of knowing me, of knowing Lily." Maria's gaze fell to her hands, gripping her knees tightly. The moment dragged, a weight as heavy as an anchor. "So you're saying my dad?" "Yes, I think so. We just need to confirm the details." "But I had to let you know what I found out," Mark explained. "I need a moment," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "Take your time," he said softly. His heart ached for her. In that moment, he realized the impact this would have on both of their lives. Would this information bring them closer, or create a chasm too deep to cross? As silence settled again, Mark noticed Lily peek in once more, her snack in hand. But the cheerful spark in the air dimmed. The uncertainty loomed like a dark cloud. Could he hold his family together as truth unraveled before him? As Maria finally looked back at him, her eyes glistening, he knew they were standing on the edge of a new chapter, one filled with vulnerability and revelation. "What is going to happen now?" she asked, her voice trembling with unspoken fears. And just as Mark opened his mouth to respond, the doorbell rang again, echoing like a drumbeat of destiny. Who could it be? Would this visit change everything yet again? Mark's heart raced as he exchanged a quick glance with Rebecca. The doorbell rang again, slicing through the tension in the room. "Are you expecting someone?" Maria asked, her brow knitted with concern. "No," Mark replied, feeling an unsettling knot tighten in his stomach. "I'll check." He hesitated for a split second before moving toward the door, each step carrying the weight of uncertainty. With a deep breath, he flung open the door. Standing there was a familiar figure, his estranged father, Daniel. The years apart seemed to fold back on themselves, and Mark could hardly process the unexpected sight. "Dad?" Mark stammered, shock evident in his voice. He felt Maria shift behind him, uncertainty radiating from her, as she caught a glimpse of the man who had been a ghost in their lives. "Mark," Daniel said, his voice thick with an emotion that was hard to decipher. "I wasn't sure if you'd want to see me, but I needed to come." "What do you want?" Mark forced out, the anger boiling just beneath his surface. Memories flooded back of abandonment, lost years, and unanswered questions. "I came to talk," Daniel said softly, his eyes darting nervously toward the floor. "I heard about your mother, and I wanted to see how you're doing. I just thought, maybe it was time." "Time?" Mark repeated incredulously. "You think you can just show up after all these years and say it was time? You think that makes everything okay?" Mark, his father began, but he cut him off. "Right now, I'm dealing with a lot. My sister just found out that she is my sister, and now you're here? He gestured wildly, the frustration boiling over. "What do you want from me?" Daniel stood there, his expression steady yet weary. "I came to tell you the truth. There is something you need to know about your mother, about our family." Mark felt his heart race again. The air in the room felt charged, heavy with the significance of the moment. Maria stood behind him, her eyes wide, caught between surprise and dread. "What could you possibly say that would matter now?" Mark shot back, crossing his arms defensively. "This isn't a good time," Rebecca interjected, stepping forward, her protective instincts kicking in. She placed a hand gently on Mark's shoulder, grounding him. Daniel's gaze softened as he assessed the situation. "I understand. But I can't keep this from you, Mark. It was a secret that destroyed our family. I owe you that much." Mark's pulse quickened. "What are you talking about?" He glanced back at Maria, whose expression was a mix of confusion and anxiety. The unanswered questions between them hung in the air like a dark cloud. The weight of Daniel's sudden appearance pressed down on him. "Why now?" he whispered, feeling vulnerable. Before Daniel could answer, Lily toddled up to the door frame, snack still in hand, oblivious to the storm brewing. "Daddy, I want to show you something." Mark's heart broke a little more at the innocence of her interruption. "Just a moment, Lily," he managed to say, desperately wanting to embrace the moment of joy but feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. "Can we please go inside and talk?" Daniel asked, his voice tremulous, an odd mix of urgency and regret. Mark's mind raced. He could either slam the door shut and walk away or open himself up to a flood of long-buried emotions. He felt the choice pressing down on him. "Fine," he said at last, stepping aside to let his father in. But he turned to Maria, catching a tear that slipped from her eye. "Stay close." As Daniel moved past him into the living room, the tension hung thick as fog. What could he possibly unveil that would change everything again? In that moment, under the weight of all their shared histories and secrets, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that whatever unfolded next could ignite a wildfire of emotions or force them all to confront truths best left hidden. As the door clicked shut behind Daniel, the room held its breath, teetering on the edge of revelation. Just what family secrets would come to light? The room felt packed with unspoken words as Mark closed the door behind Daniel. He turned to see his father shift awkwardly in the living room, a massive presence in a space that suddenly seemed small. Mark's heart thudded loudly, a deep, rhythmic reminder of the anger and pain still lodged in his chest. Let us sit." Daniel motioned to the couch as if it would magically dissolve the years of hurt between them. Mark remained rooted, his arms crossed tightly over his chest, resisting the urge to retreat. Rebecca glanced at Maria, then back to Mark, her face a mixture of support and concern. Maria stepped a little closer, her concern etched across her features. "Do you want to talk?" "We can leave if that would help," she said softly, her voice a comforting whisper amidst the storm. "No," Mark replied, his voice firmer than he felt. "I need to hear what he has to say. I think I deserve that much." Taking a breath that felt like ice settling in his lungs, he moved toward the couch, guided by a sudden resolve. Daniel's gaze didn't waver, but the shame lingered behind it, a shadow of the man Mark remembered from childhood. "Listen," Daniel began, the tremor in his voice betraying him. "I don't expect forgiveness. I came here to explain, not to ask for anything." A blaze of rage ignited within Mark. "Explain? You mean the years of silence? The way you just disappeared?" His voice cracked, a raw edge of pain surfacing. "Do you have any idea what we went through?" Daniel swallowed hard, almost visibly choking on his regret. "I know. I can't change the past. Your mother, she made some choices that trapped us all in secrets. I kept mine. But you deserve the truth about why I left." Mark leaned forward, captivated despite himself. "What secrets?" "The day I walked out," Daniel said, his eyes glistening as the memories seemed to engulf him. "Your mother wasn't the person you thought she was. There were truths about our family, hidden for a reason." Mark's breath hitched. What did that even mean? Suddenly, Lily came bounding back into the room, proudly wielding a crayon drawing. "Look, Daddy. I made this for you." Mark forced a smile for her sake, a momentary reprieve from the heavy weight of the conversation. "Wow, that's fantastic, sweetheart." He knelt to her level, momentarily distracted from the unfolding crisis, but even her joy felt dim against the backdrop of his father's looming admissions. Daniel watched the exchange with a look that betrayed a mixture of sadness and yearning. "You have a good life here, Mark. I wish I could have been part of it." "If you cared enough, you could have been," Mark countered, standing taller now, reclaiming his anger. "But you had a choice, and you chose to leave." "I made a mistake," Daniel replied, tears welling in his eyes. "And when I found out about your mother's illness, I realized that I was hosting a ghost instead of being part of my real family." The room fell silent, each second dripping with unsaid words and unprocessed feelings. Mark felt the echo of his mother's absence, mingling with the ache of Daniel's history. A noise from the kitchen pulled them out of the heavy moment. Rebecca was rinsing dishes, but her presence felt distant. "What do you want from me now, Dad?" Mark asked, his voice firm yet weary. "What is it that you came here to say?" "Not just you, but the whole family," Daniel murmured, his brow furrowed. "There is so much to explain about our past. I need you to know the truth. It's time for unburdening, and you deserve to understand." 1,000 thoughts raced through Mark's mind, each one pushing against the walls of his heart. But as Daniel opened his mouth to continue, the weight of a new emotion settled in Mark's chest, a mix of curiosity and dread. Could there truly be anything that would change how he saw his past? As the seconds slipped away, Mark suddenly found himself wondering if, amidst the rubble of their fractured family, there was a chance for redemption or just more heartbreak. "Tell me," he finally said, the words tasting bitter yet urgent on his tongue. "Tell me everything." And with that, the room seemed to inhale, the promise of truths both terrifying and liberating hanging in the air like an unspoken pact. What secrets would emerge, and would any of them heal the wounds of the past? Mark's heart pounded as he steeled himself for what lay ahead. The air felt electric, heavy with a mix of suspense and an unbearable longing for resolution. Daniel's eyes reflected a lifetime of regret. "I didn't know the whole truth about your mother until after she passed," he began, his voice trembling. "She kept secrets about why I left, about why I couldn't stay." Mark felt his stomach churn. Every word peeled away layers of defensiveness, allowing vulnerability to seep in. "What do you mean?" "What secrets?" Daniel inhaled deeply, steadying himself. "Your mother, she was involved in things I didn't agree with. There were motives tied to family ties, dark connections I didn't understand. I wasn't prepared for it. I left to protect you." Silence blanketed the room. Mark reeled from the unexpected admission. Was this the real reason his father had abandoned him? Just then, Lily's laughter floated in again, a beautiful contrast to the heavy topic at hand. It made his heart ache even more. "Is that what you call love? Abandoning your family?" Mark spat, his fury boiling over. "You could have told me the truth. Instead, you let me grow up wondering why you vanished." "I was scared," Daniel replied, pain etched across his features. "But I never stopped caring. I just didn't know how to face you, my own son." "Don't give me that," Mark shot back, his voice rising. "Your fear cost us both everything." Maria's hand gently squeezed his shoulder, urging him to find calm, while Rebecca's presence surged behind them, uniting their strength. She nodded as if to say, "You've got this." "Mark," Daniel pleaded, "you have to understand. Your mother didn't want you to know about the other life, the threats surrounding us. It was her way of protecting you. His voice cracked. She thought I was too weak to handle the truth. Mark looked at his father, torn. Digging the buried emotions from the past felt like opening a festering wound that had long since scarred over. What about Maria? Is she part of this? The mention of Maria caused an unmistakable flicker in Daniel's eyes, one that triggered an unsettling feeling in Mark's gut. Yes, he whispered. Lily peeked through the door again, her innocent smile piercing the growing tension. Daddy, can we play now? Mark's heart softened as he looked into her hopeful eyes. He pushed away the waves of anger swirling inside him. Yes, sweet girl. Just a minute. He took a deep breath, refocusing on the moment, navigating the maze of emotion within him. With the weight of his regrets pressing down, he knew he had to protect her. Lily's joy comes first, Maria chimed in, her voice a gentle reminder of the light that still existed amid the chaos. The past can't change who you are now. You're building this family together. Mark met her gaze, finding an anchor within her strength. Perhaps this was an opportunity to create something new, a chance to bridge the gulf forged by secrets and neglect. I need to process all of this, Dad, Mark finally said, the anger simmering within him but no longer overwhelming. I can't listen to your excuses anymore. This isn't just about you or your decisions. Daniel nodded, recognizing the hot truth of his son's words. I understand. But please, let me be part of the answer now. I want to make things right. In that moment, they could feel the tremors of history shifting quietly beneath their feet. This family broken as it was had a chance to reshape its future. But it's not just about the three of us, Mark interjected. It's about Lily and Maria too. If we're going to heal, it needs to be together. Daniel glanced at Maria, realizing the connection between them. It's never too late to start anew, he replied, the weight of reality dawning on him. Just then, he caught a glimmer of hope flickering in Mark's eyes. Maybe you can unite this family, Mark suggested, feeling a warm swell as he looked around. We can build a stronger bond, turn our wounds into lessons learned. Absolutely, Maria said, her conviction radiating strength, intertwining with Mark's growing resolve. Let us not let the past determine our futures. The tension in the room lightened slightly, as laughter from Lily drifted in once more. Mark felt the echoes of her joy, a reminder of what truly mattered. Then let us take one step at a time, Mark said, feeling the stirrings of hope and healing creep back in. I'm willing to try for all of us. As Daniel nodded, the myriad of emotions settled into place, embarking on a new path. With hearts unburdened, the remnants of their past became a bridge toward rebuilding what had been lost. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, their shattered pieces began fitting together, the laughter growing through every room of their home, echoing the song of family once more. It was a fresh beginning, a vibrant canvas waiting to be painted anew. Mark dared to dream as everyone gathered for dinner, imagining a future built on honesty, love, and resilience. This time, they would embrace the truth, crafting a legacy that could weather any storm. And as they shared their first meal together as a united family, Mark felt a profound sense of belonging wash over him, knowing that now, they were all truly connected. Don't miss out on more inspiring stories. Subscribe immediately to the channel, so you won't miss what's next. Your support means everything. Leave a like now to show your love and feed the all-important algorithm. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this heartfelt ending below, because we want to hear from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this powerful transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.